Well, hello guys, and welcome back to another Steven Universe review. In this episode, we'll be taking a look at the episode Last One Out of Beach City. Now, I just want to say right off the bat, this episode worried me. For every part that I liked, the next moment there'd be something that worried me. I didn't outright hate anything, it had me on edge. But with that being said, let's just get right into this. So the episode starts off, Steven and Pearl are doing a puzzle, right? And Amethyst is excited because Greg's going to take her to a concert. But Greg shows up and basically tells her he can't go because he's playing cards. That with Bedalia, there was a really funny joke in there. And Amethyst's all bummed, and then Pearl's like, "Oh, I'll take you guys to the concert. Come on, let's go, right? We got to be cool." And now I've seen this plot. We've all seen this plot before of where the stick in the mud for lack of a better word, is trying to be hip and cool with her kids. This happens all the time in all sorts of shows. Another example where they used a very similar setup is, I think, in Amazing World of Gumball. They did this setup and they even were doing a puzzle. So again, this has been done before. So Amethyst is all excited. Oh, Pearl, right? She's gonna get to go to the concert, quote unquote. And right, Pearl has to act natural, right? Blend in. She's got a jacket. She's wearing pants. She's acting all cool. Okay, makes sense. And then, right, they're going out, they're at the Big Donut, they're picking out sodas. Amethyst gets this soda and it's like, oh, it turns everything red. And I was like, it'd be really funny if just when she, shoves it in her mouth, for a split second she turned red, fully. But no, it didn't happen. And then Pearl's trying to open the apple juice, but she can't. And then this girl walks in, and I was like, oh no. She looks just like Rose. Pink hair, everything. And I was like, oh no, I know exactly where this is going. Pearl's going after the girl. Because I've said before, Pearl is a very selfish person. She loves Rose, right? And she'll do anything for her. But since Mr. Greg, she's moved past that. But now there's this other girl who looks like Rose. And now she's kind of going after her. I've seen people make jokes like this before, but this is actually canon. And I'm worried about this, but at the same time, interested, if that makes any sense. So, right, she comes in, Pearl is just a mess, unable to talk to her, right? And then they're driving in the car, and it was at this point I thought, it'd be really cool if this episode had a song in it, but I'm gonna have to check out the soundtrack for this one, because there may be some interesting stuff in there, because there is a lot of music and whatnot in the background. But, when they're in the car, Steven's just outright, that girl looked like mom, and right, they all see it, and I was like, okay, you know what? You know why this is saving it? Usually I like subtlety. Subtlety can be done really well. I think I've called the show out before for not being subtle. But by not being subtle in this instance, it makes it easier. Just, they're being upfront and blatant about it, which I do like. It makes this a lot easier to tackle it. So from there, the girl, she comes by on a motorcycle, the mysterious girl. Pearl gives her a look, and she drives off, and that's it. But then Pearl's like, you know what? Screw it. I think this episode may have a metaphor for peer pressure in it. Because they do kind of peer pressure Pearl into talking to the girl, to going and to give her the look. Of course, near the end, she does it on her own, but still, I think this episode, that's the subtlety of the episode, if anything. So Pearl runs a red light, right? Amethyst is totally getting into it. Steven's the voice of reason. And yeah, and then the cops show up out of nowhere, and right, they're on the run from the cops. Now, Pearl goes and hides behind an Ocean City sign. And now the Ocean City sign is only on screen for a few seconds. So I wanted to point this out. It says, "No longer on fire." That is funny as hell. Because we've heard about Ocean City. When the sun goes down, so does the town. That is great. So, right, Pearl she's outran the cops. They're out of gas. Pearl's all mad because, right, she tried to be the cool hip mom, and as far as she's concerned, she failed. And we do get this thing, again, Pearl is kind of very selfish. Again, I'm like 90% sure she's lusting, quote unquote, after this girl only because she looks like Rose. And they kind of straight up admit it here, but yet because they did, it makes it easier to bear. Because normally I probably would have hated this. Of course, until Mr. Greg came around. and then changed everything. And then they find out, right, they go behind these bushes and find out they were at this concert. Now, it really isn't a concert, it's just some garage band. I think they don't even call it a concert, they call it something else. But yeah, it's just, it's nothing, it's not a big deal, just some small get-together, whatever, with a band. The girl is there, Pearl goes up, they talk, right, and Pearl gets her number. Again, another thing that really worked was that they didn't rush into it, they just took it slow, like really slow. And I think that really worked in this episode's favor. And then the end credits. Okay, right, we see Pearl as the repressed nerd, Steven as the voice of reason. That was really funny. I am assuming it may be a reference to something, but I don't know what. And yeah, that's where the episode ends. Again, I liked it. It was good, but it worried me. And weirdly enough, though, I still do want to see more of this girl, this mysterious girl, because she doesn't say a line in the episode. And I kind of hope she does come back. And when we see her again, she doesn't say a word. That's like her big character trait, is that she never says anything. I think that would be really interesting. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed. And until next time, peace.